Guys, welcome to another SLTD Wrestling Roundtable podcast. We are here as always. This week we're trying something different. We're doing a little, we're doing a little format change, little change up, because change is as good as a rest, apparently. Um, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do some topical stuff, and then we're gonna go into some other bits and bobs, but we're gonna like separate it so it's not too long, and we're gonna hopefully have some little bits to play around with on like YouTube and on the podcast and stuff like that. So bear with us a little bit, and this could be good. We could go back to the old way. We'll see what happens. I'm going to throw it around the table as always, and we will get into what's going on in the world of grabs. Adam, are you okay?
Yeah, mate, all good. I'm very tired, as I told you to. I'm not going to relay this back to the audience because this will just be the content of the first episode if I do that because it's been a long week. Um, I'm very conscious of like the fact that my door doesn't quite shut because obviously I've got a plug wire leading out of it, and I always worry about sound bleeding and all that kind of stuff. And I've just heard Ruby shout up the stairs, "I'm hungry." So apologies if you heard that. This ravenous 8-year old almost. But yeah, it's been a very long week. I'm intrigued by the format because obviously, like we've been talking about it, and I have essentially stolen it from a podcast that I listen to. Where the idea is that we're going to record sort of 2 hours ish, and then 1 hour will go out on today, and then 1 hour will go out later in the week. The one that goes out first is the more topical stuff that we're going to discuss, sort of like big hits of the week's news, and then the other one is just us having a little bit of fun and having a bit of sort of let's chat about this, and if we did this, what would we do? So
Yeah,
we'll
man.
see, we'll see. It might be,
Shits and gigs. That's what we
yeah,
do.
might be more digestible.
Yeah, shits and gigs. Callum, are you okay? What's cracking?
Yeah. I just got a couple of things to talk about before we talk about wrestling, which everyone is here for. First thing is that Thursday, just gone, the 13th of June, it was the year anniversary since the stabbings in Nottingham. And as you two both know and our listeners know, Nottingham is a city that is incredibly close to my heart. So to the victims' families, to Barnaby's, to Grace's, and to Ian's family and friends, Nottingham will never forget you, and your lives will always be remembered. And the second thing to talk about is it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Week. And again, as you two know, and I think the listeners know, like all three of us have been through our own, uh, what's the easiest way of putting this, our own mental health troubles over the last few years. And I think it's still something that doesn't really get talked about, especially for men. And so I did some research earlier this week, and it's quite a scary bit of research that um, the most common killer for men under 50 is suicide. So, if you're listening to this podcast and you're going through some tough times, just find help. There's people out there who can help you and give you support. There's, in the UK, you can call the Samaritans. And, the beauty of modern technology these days is that, yeah, there's various places online that you can find if you need that support. And, yeah, it's very scary to read that is the biggest killer for men under 50. Like the three of us here are aged between 26 and just under 40. And to know that is the biggest killer amongst our age like bracket is really horrifying to know. So, cost of living prices and everything going on in the world right now, just try and remain positive. Things can get better, and hopefully they will get better for everyone listening to this podcast. And let's try and get that horrible figure down in years to come.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's
I
right,
had a
Callum.
friend at work this week who he's struggling and he was telling me that he's been referred to therapy and it's something that he's it's not uncomfortable with, but he's nervous about because he always thinks it's sort of like it might not be him and it might not be for him and all that kind of stuff. And both me and his sister basically sort of said to him like, it's good, it's worthwhile. You may as well go and do it, you know. So,
Yeah.
like Callum said, get the help. You know, it's all right.
Even if you're a bit sort of, what's the word? A bit like dubious of the whole idea of it being a professional and it being like whatever it may be, or that idea of, oh God, that's not really for me or whatever. Um, Reach out to anyone. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Reach out just to it helps to just talk in general. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're feeling that way, like even if it's not talking about your problems or what you're feeling straight away, just talking to somebody about anything. Like hit us up and talk
yeah.
wrestling. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then once you kind of get that sort of rapport or that sort of situation where you've built a bit of trust or you can like open up to somebody, that's a huge thing. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't always have to be like the idea of, oh my God, I've got to unload, I'm gonna end up unloading my problems onto this person. Maybe just like a distraction is key sometimes. You know what I mean? You can get in your own head. I know I can, where you can get in your own head and everything's like the worst thing in the world, and then you'd have a conversation about absolutely nothing with somebody, and it kind of breaks that cycle. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, it's just it kind of like, as Callum said, it's like do anything, do something. Like don't sit there in silence and suffer. Uh, Everybody would rather listen to you talk than go to a funeral. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's a fact. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's my. Do you know what? I didn't even know it was this week. That's how mad it is. Like I
Mm.
knew it was around now, but I genuinely didn't even know it was this week. So it just goes to show that it's not really out there in the public, realistically. Like I knew it was Pride Month more than anything else.
Mhm.
Um, which I'm not saying is it's not a trade-off between the two. I'm just saying like the sort of public like outpour or push for Pride Month. Um, and then it's men's mental health as well. It's mad that they're in the same month, and I only knew about one of them. Do you know what I
There's a
mean?
lot of these things happening now, aren't there? Where like every a day's got a name or a week's got a
Yeah,
name and stuff like
yeah,
that, and I think that can get in the way, you know.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, definitely,
you know,
yeah.
um, can you believe that Callum just referred to you as just under 40?
Yeah, I wasn't happy about that, but I thought
Rude.
I'll be honest, I just forgot your age.
he was doing something,
But
and I thought I can't interrupt you, but I was slowly seething inside that he said just under 40, and I went,
I sank a little bit. I thought, oh,
yeah, I know.
I know it doesn't mean me because I'm 34, so at least I'm like mid 30s.
Yeah, you would be mid-30s, I think, yeah.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
yeah, I'm
Wait,
I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move
you're
on.
just under 40 to me.
Okay.
thanks.
But yeah. Does that make me feel
I
Just a
like,
smidge.
yeah.
I'm just under 30.
Yeah, I'm old. It's okay. I'm sound. Know what I
So
mean?
you're going to get your own back in a minute because the first segment of this episode is where we fire Callum for not putting the Bloodline Civil War in his top 10 matches last week.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
pink slip.
I'll have to, I'll have to do that's the new format. The new format is Callum isn't in the format. That's
Yeah.
so yeah, so what we're doing is I'll do some bullet points of what we're going to talk about what like is going on in the world of wrestling and all that stuff. So some talking points for this segment of the show we'll say is we're going to mention a little bit about Ricochet. We're going to talk about the Autumn UK tour, and we're going to talk about Jeff Hardy and his free agency slash new agency, I guess. Um, so, and anything else that kind of pops up in the middle is what we're going to go with. But they're the main kind of talking points as to where we're going with this. So, if anybody doesn't know, it looks as though Ricochet is no more in WWE. on Raw Bron Breaker, absolutely annihilated them, and WWE have come out to say that he's out for an undisclosed period of time because he has got upper body injuries, which is the vaguest thing I've ever heard in my life. So that's happening. They've done the thing, and I think he's decided that he doesn't want to re-sign with them. So they've gone, well, if you don't want to re-sign, then we're not gonna like we're not gonna use you. What's the point? So they just got him absolutely battered, and apparently he's bound for somewhere else. So Adam, what do you think?
It's one of them where I love Ricochet. I think he's great. And I'd love him to remain in WWE, mainly because obviously that's the one that I watch the most and it's where I'm going to see things the most. But I would be lying if that sort of little tease of does that mean I could get Ricochet versus Will Ospreay at Wembley hasn't crossed through my mind.
Mm,
Um, where obviously like purely selfishly, I'm like that could be the way that it goes. Um, which I think is interesting because you hear all this stuff about how technically AEW can't offer him anything until his contract is up with WWE.
mhm.
But then that doesn't mean that there hasn't been conversations and that conversations aren't allowed. Um, but then it would be interesting to know how far back if this is the way that it would go, and that Ricochet joins AEW and it ends up being Ricochet Ospreay at Wembley. How far back does it go where that talk initially started?
Yeah,
How far in the sort of works has that been? Because I think a lot of us, and we're going to get onto talking about this on the second episode that we do, a lot of us sort of looked at possibly seeing Ospreay going for the world title in the main event of All In.
yeah,
But if Ricochet has been on the table, is that why they're almost doing the swerve match now, so that it takes off Osprey away from that stuff to do that as an additional match?
mm,
My answer for the main event of All In is going to be different to any of that what we've just discussed, and we'll come to that later. But the prospect of Ricochet joining AEW is one that I think seems obvious, but again, we're on that thing of there are so many people in AEW. There are
yeah,
so many big names in AEW, people who aren't doing stuff, people who are doing stuff, people who have seemingly moved one side to ROH. And it's like, is he going to fit there? Do you make another belt because you need to put him somewhere else,
yeah,
Um, but then I suppose the other things are like, could he do a TNA? Can we see Ricochet in TNA? Can we see Ricochet in New Japan? I think a lot of people think that, he might go back and do some stuff in Japan. Um, but yeah, I think the
Why have you
WWE
put
one is
your thumb up?
interesting in that. Say again.
You've just done a thumb up for no reason.
Did I again?
Yeah.
I
Yeah, you
need to
put your
stop
thumb
moving
up
my
and it got
hands.
like the like.
I'm too animated with everything, and
You
it
just
just.
got a little bubble of a thumb up.
Sorry, my bad. I need to figure out how to turn it off.
I feel
Um,
like your screen has just said when you said he's going to New Japan. Screen agreed.
Screen was like, yeah, I'll have
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Zoom prediction.
That's what I did.
Yeah, and I just think, like again, WWE. I feel like he's had a good run in WWE. It's not been fantastic. It's not been like he's not been featured too prominently consistently. Like, but Intercontinental Champion, North American Champion, first ever Speed Champion.
Hmm.
Should that mean anything? And I really enjoyed this stuff in NXT. So I am. I'm intrigued to see where he goes. Because he's going to be a get for whoever it is. And I think we need to do that thing of going, it's okay that Samantha can stay in WWE and
I
continue
hope
to
she,
work in WWE.
I hope she doesn't do a brandy. But it's one of them where why would she leave? Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
understand. I understand the idea of it because it was like Cody did it, and that's the type of situation. And I understand that why Brandy left because I don't think she ever really wanted to be a ring announcer, if I'm completely honest with you.
Hmm.
So why would Samantha leave?
Samantha's been the first one since I'd say like Lillian Garcia, where if she feels like a character on the show, or she feels
Yeah.
like an actual inclusion on the show, rather than it just being that person's doing that voice, you
Yeah,
know.
just a voice, yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't understand why she would. Like, it's weird. And then who's to say that wherever he lands, she's gonna get a job there?
Mm.
It's not a it's not a
Part
two-time
and parcel.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like Randy leaving purely made sense because then Cody didn't have to use Rhodes. Like
Yeah.
that was the whole shtick. Like she came out with him because he was announced as Cody and Brandy Rhodes. Like that was
Yeah.
people knew not knew who he was, but he could use his name without using his name. Like, and she was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, it's all good. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't think that's even a thing, to be honest. And she could be under contract for the next God knows how long. Do you
Oh
know?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, weird. So,
Like it's again, like Malachi Black and Zelina Vega are making it work.
yeah,
Rhea Ripley
yeah,
and Murphy are making it work. So
yeah. Naomi was in TNA for that
yeah,
like 2 years.
yeah.
You know?
So
Yeah.
So it's all good. What are your thoughts on this whole Ricochet thing, Callum?
I think he's probably already hit the ceiling in WWE.
Mm.
I couldn't really see him in like the world title picture, and yet over like the last 12 months when he feuded with Logan, was it last year's SummerSlam that he had a match with Logan?
mhm.
Like he's been, especially under like the Triple H regime, he's been like a regular on the show. So it does feel strange that he's going now, and obviously like, it's dependent on when contracts were signed. But when it was like 2021 sort of Ricochet, where he wasn't being featured a lot, and then you got the tag team with Braun, which made him feel relevant again. And it feels like right now he's in a picture with Braun and Dragunov. This feels like the first prolonged feud that he's had. So it feels like an odd time for him to go. But I
Yeah,
mean, I quite like the way that he was written off. It puts Braun over and makes him a bigger deal. So that all works. But I sort of wonder whether he's gonna have like one final match. Like, I mean, he wrestled on Speed 3 days after his supposed getting written off TV. But one sort of proper final match against Braun, maybe at a Money in the Bank. Um, but it's weird to see a guy just get written off in this way because I think like the norm would be, oh, someone gets injured and then within 3-4 weeks they're back. So it feels strange that WWE said he's out for an undisclosed amount of time, and then all of a sudden he may pop up in a different company. So
yeah,
it's one of those moments where you think, well, they've written him off TV, but is he actually just going to do one or two more things for them?
yeah,
That's the thing that's sort of going in my head. Um, I was first aware of Ricochet probably just around that time of his match against Osprey in New Japan, the Battle of Super Juniors. When was he going under as Prince Puma then, or that was his
Well,
uh,
Lucha Underground, I think.
that
Wasn't
was Lucha Underground? So he's still
Was he?
Ricochet then.
he's always been Ricochet. He
Yeah, yeah.
owns the rights to Ricochet. So if
Yeah,
he went to AEW, he can still be Ricochet.
Right.
yeah.
Not gonna have to be Ricochet.
No,
Ricochet. No, we're not getting the Irish
Top of
footballer.
the morning to you.
Irish pool player.
Yes.
He's about that Rushmore. So yeah, I was first aware of him around 2016 because I mean that match got so much buzz for New Japan and then both for Osprey and Ricochet. And then his introduction to NXT was really solid. He was part of that North American ladder match where no one in that North American ladder match is now still in the company, assuming Ricochet is gone. So that's quite a terrifying thought that like 6 years after one of the best matches in NXT history, none of those competitors are there. And then like you said, Adam, like his main roster run was stellar. Like it's difficult because they just gave him good matches. We never got a lot of character progression from him.
Mm.
Like I can't remember like 5 Ricochet promos. So let the guy talk if he wanted to talk or give him a manager. Like it always felt like he was, here's a Ricochet match, it'll be quite good, but there's no character development there. So it's sort of weird that as we said, like the last few weeks of the feud with Braun, it finally felt that you're getting some character development, and then he's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's strange for him to go at a time where his character's quite over. But as you say, I mean, I hope Samantha sticks around. Like, she's been the best announcer since Lillian, and like, there's no reason why married couples can't work in different companies. It's worked for others in the past, and it will work again. I'm not even sure if Ricochet and Samantha are a married couple, so there's no reason why couples that are partners can't work in
Yeah.
can't work in different
They're
companies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, fine. Yeah, he'll do well in wherever he goes. It's a big name for TNA, AEW, New Japan. Wherever Ricochet goes, he'll shine. And I feel he's sort of at that point with the style that he works. He's probably only got maybe 2 or 3 more years of working like a really high flying style, and then we could see him come back into WWE in 4 or 5 years' time, similar to like an AJ sort of run, where he's beginning to slow down, but he can still do like the high flying moves now and then.
I think it's one of them where it's like a lot of people sort of see what Cody's done and see what Drew did and see what Cardona is doing now, and I think, well, I can go and make a name for myself somewhere else, make the money, do me thing, get back into it, like grind a little bit, and then come back to WWE and be like the main event. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them where that isn't like unattainable anymore. Where it's one of them where it's like you were released, so you're gone. My only issue with not issue, but Ricochet going to AEW is the same. There's so many AEW people, and I would hate people to be like, "Oh, look at him being Speed champ," and then in 6 months' time he's the Ring of Honor TV champ, and it's like, what the hell is the difference? Seriously,
Yeah.
like you a TV champ on a show that hasn't got a TV, like what the hell? But the only thing with AEW is if you look at the people who made the jump from WWE, like in that same sort of bracket, so you've got like Malachi Black, hasn't had a mega run in AEW.
No.
Pac hasn't had a mega run in AEW. Miro hasn't had a mega run. Like all these people are I would say, not like ability wise or talking wise or anything like that, but we're on the same level in WWE. And now they're not lighting fires in AEW. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them where it's like, is Ricochet gonna like, is he gonna go for the world title? Do you know what I mean? Like, probably not the most successful, but Claudio, he's like an all round amazing like wrestler, talker. Like he can talk all these different languages, he can do all these different things. He still hasn't been world champ, and he hasn't really been in a world title picture. Do you know what I
No.
mean? So it's one of them where you're like, is that jump gonna be the thing that catapults him? Because I'm not sure it will be, to be
Is
honest.
that
Like,
because you're not including the Ring of Honor world title as a world title?
well, no, I would do, yeah, but like, would you say Claudio's been a world champ?
It's weird, isn't it, that they're sort of treating ROH as the NXT of AEW.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's just
In that,
mad. Like,
like right now, like Dragunov has been NXT champion, but like you say, then I wouldn't say Dragunov's been a world champion.
no, he hasn't. Like,
No.
Yeah.
like maybe I'm wrong for that. Like, I don't know, but I don't know. It's one of them where I would say if I was talking about the world title reigns of CM Punk, I probably wouldn't include Ring of Honor. Maybe I'm wrong for that, but I was like, I wouldn't say he's like, say he was a 10-time champ and he's won the Ring of Honor title 3 times. I wouldn't say he was a 13-time champ.
I
13
don't think
time
anyone
world.
really does that anyway, do they? Like, if sort of, when you hear someone go, "Oh, they're a 6-time world champion," it's never
Yeah,
like one time was ROH, one time was
yeah.
Progress, one time was
That's
whatever.
what I
It's
mean.
always it's usually a ECW, WCW, WWE, and now AEW. So
Yeah.
Mm.
That's fine. You know what I mean? And I'd say possibly TNA would be thrown in there as well.
Mm.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
But even that it depends where you are in when you was champ, or do you know what I mean?
Mm,
Like I would say AJ was a TNA world champ.
mm,
I probably wouldn't say Eli Drake is a former world champ. LA Knight is a former world champ. He is, because he was the Impact world champion.
Yeah,
No one says, oh, former world champ. So
because
mm,
AJ's got the gravitas of having the NWA one as well.
that's what I mean. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's that argument of where the company is and where
Mm,
you are and all that stuff. Like Eli Drake or LA Knight, when he was Eli Drake, was the Impact world champion in the worst possible time to be world champ.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
the company was on its ass. Like
Mm,
it was it was a fucking mess. But he was still world champ. But no one says, and that's another thing as well. If LA Knight made the jump to AEW, he'd be a former world champ because he was. But in WWE, he's not a former world champ.
mm,
yeah.
They don't look at it like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's where you are and what you're looking at and what you're doing. It's like every other company. He's like, oh, he's a Hall of Famer. And it's like he's a Hall of Famer for the competition that you're trying to.
yeah,
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's oh my God, Ric Flair, two-time Hall of Famer. Oh, bloody hell. But yeah, we hate WWE, yeah, and we want
yeah.
our business. And it's like, make your fucking mind up. Like,
It was interesting last night watching SmackDown and AJ's promo of he sort of saying, you were here, and you got fired and you went to New Japan and you quit, and then you went up and started a company, that should have been a rival, and you quit that too,
yeah,
and I did think, like, how far is he gonna go with this? How is he gonna, yeah.
it's one of them. Like, I don't know. It's just, yeah. So in that sense, I'm almost certain Prince Puma was a Lucha Underground world champ at one point.
So he would,
So
in
he'd be
that sense, he would be a
so
former one.
if he went to AEW, would you be like, oh yeah, he's a former world champ? Because
Yeah.
he is. You know what I mean? But he also could be a
Well, because
former world champ. And
they've mentioned, haven't they, that Austin Theory was a former Evolve champion, but again, that wasn't a world.
yeah, yeah,
It's weird. It's
mm,
weird. Yeah,
depends where you work and where you
yeah,
are and how they want to get you over and all that
yeah,
shit. Do you know what I mean?
mm.
Like I'm sure Claudio has been a world champ in 75 different companies, but
yeah, yeah.
being a
It's
world
like
champion,
I don't think our mate Jeff is sort of pushing anyone to say, make sure you mention they're a former world champion in Global
that's,
Force Wrestling.
that's
It's
what
like,
I mean. It's like,
let's
yeah,
get that one out there.
yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm a seven-time former world champ for A-Star Hollywood West Championship. Who? Oh yeah, it ran
Stick
for
it on your CV.
it ran for 6 shows, and that's how many people have wrestled in front of. Like it doesn't. It's not a thing. Like I don't know. Like I wouldn't. That's just me. As I say, I could be wrong. I could be like
Yeah.
downplaying something. Do you know what I mean? But
I suppose it's that difference of, like, we know that WWE have chosen Cody Rhodes to be world champion because he's carrying the company, and it's carrying the multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah,
But then the difference between him and, no offense to them, Kid Lycos being Progress world champion, is that, yeah, you're the face of Progress,
yeah,
but you're not necessarily having to carry that company. Yeah, like, people are going to go and watch it because you're there and stuff like that, but there's not as much pressure and there's not as much sort of, like, eyes on you for doing that.
yeah,
It's great that you've got there and it's great that you've done it, but it's a different thing. Yeah.
yeah.
it feels like, and sorry to use like a sporting analogy, it feels like the difference between the Premier League and the Championship when it comes to wrestling companies.
Mm.
You don't get a case of saying they've won the Championship 10 times. It's
Yeah.
like that's like the second division to the Premier League, but you do get, hey, Man City have won the Premier League 3 times in a row. That's equivalent to the WWE, an AEW, a WCW in my eyes. Whereas the Championship is very much a case of like an NXT or a Ring of Honor, where it feels like it's, especially NXT, is sort of the feeder to WWE. NXT is the championship to what WWE's Premier League is. So,
I suppose,
so
carrying on with that. So I'm looking at your t-shirt. So your Nottingham Forest shirt. right?
Yes.
So the 2 stars that are on there, what do the 2 stars signify?
They're for winning the European title. So what
Right.
is now the Champions League. So that
Okay.
is like that's bigger than the Premier League, obviously.
Yeah.
And
So
then they're also like former First Division champions, Nottingham
Yeah.
Forest, which is now the Premier League.
that's
So
like
like my New England top has got 1 star on it, and that's for the World Cup in it.
Yeah,
But if they win the Euros, would they put a star on it as well?
I would assume so. Yeah,
Right. Okay.
they'll probably release another shirt just for Euros.
Because I didn't know if the stars were just World Cup wins. Because I know like Germany have got like 5, aren't they, or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
depends how you look at it. Do you know what I mean? It's one of
Yeah. What are you notching up as a yeah?
yeah. What are you like? That's the thing. Like it'd be interesting to see what it'd be interesting to see Matt Cardona saying how many time world champ he is
Yeah.
because he's the freaking belt collector at the minute and he's got about 20.
Yeah.
But do any of them really, are any of them a thing? Do you know what I mean? Like, these are
mm.
different between Cody Rhodes being on Good Morning America and, as you say, like, the Progress champ. Like, he's not on Good Morning Slough, is he? Do you know what I mean? Not a thing. Like, not going on with his belt and explain.
Oh dear.
You know what I mean? Like,
Radio
Yeah.
Norwich.
Yeah.
that's not a thing, is it? Like I know it is to a point, but it's not. Like it's just different. Like it's apples and oranges, but it depends what you would say is a world title win or not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't. My point was 5 minutes ago. I don't know if Ricochet would go to TNA. No, would go to AEW and be a world champ or fight for
Yeah.
the title. I think if he went to TNA, he would go straight into the world title picture.
Yeah,
That's what I would
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
But I have got a mad scenario. Like this is like Callum style booking. You know what I mean? This is
he's back in
like
10 years to win the Royal Rumble.
yeah. This is like Austin versus Edge at WrestleMania. This is like out there, right? So imagine this, okay? Bear with me, right? So Ricochet leaves, right? He's gone. Like, he's not under contract or whatever, right? And then he goes to TNA, right? Does his thing in TNA for a little bit, stays there for a little bit, does his thing. This whole WWE and TNA partnership gets amped up, right? Becomes something, okay? And then they do a WWE versus TNA pay-per-view, right? And they have a match, and Ricochet screws TNA and goes back to WWE.
Ooh.
Right?
Mm.
Is he the first defector or the sort
What?
of, you know?
Imagine that, eh?
But yeah, because
Yeah,
do you reckon? I mean, I know they've not bought him or anything, but I don't know. I've got this thing of like seeing TNA becoming NXT,
Maybe.
mm.
like the
Yeah,
name
like
of it.
it's more. It's more like. Do you remember? It's like in the mid 90s or whatever. Um, ECW became like sort of the developmental of WWE
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
inadvertently, kind of
yeah,
on the sly
yeah.
type thing. I think that's what this might become. Like a little bit
Mm.
of like, okay, we'll say talent and that because I'm not saying what WWE are doing isn't cool because Jordan Grace being on NXT is mega. Like I'm all for it. But who they sent to against all odds,
Tatum Paxley.
yeah,
It's a little
yeah,
lopsided, isn't it? Even from an NXT standpoint.
yeah.
yeah.
Like I'd get it if like a Natalia turned up or
I was
something.
begging for Natty, man. I was begging
Yeah.
for
Mm.
And you sort of like, right, that makes sense. And
yeah.
like nothing against Tatum, but
No,
she's not a name that a casual fan knows, and she's not a
neither
name
one.
that like,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, had you sent like a Gigi Dolan if she was healthy, or some I'm going through all the women on that side, and obviously like Roxanne's champion, isn't she? Like a Cora Jade,
Yeah, yeah.
something,
Thea
um,
Hale. There you
Thea
go.
Hale, yeah,
Mm,
Sol Roker.
Yes.
Go and do that
mm,
mint finisher that you've got.
Yeah.
So again, it's a bit of a weird one. I suppose in the same way that it's like, if you were sending a guy over, like imagine I'm sending Obafemi to answer like a Moose Open challenge, and it'd be like, you know, but
mm.
then they end up sending Brooks Jensen
Osmosis Jones. You know what I mean?
or Moses Jones. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Where is he? Where is he?
It's one of them where it's just like, if you're going to do it, do it properly.
Yeah,
Like,
Mm.
yeah,
asking.
yeah.
Yeah. So, back to the original question. Well, not the original question, but Ricochet, where do you think he's going to land?
AEW.
Okay. Callum.
DNA.
Okay. I think he's going to be a free agent for a bit. I think the first place he's going to go is GCW because that's where everyone goes first
Oh, okay.
before he signs anywhere, and then he's going to do
Yeah.
some fees for like for a few months, and then yeah, I think I would like him to land in TNA because I think he'd get more opportunity in TNA than he would in AEW because the roster is just overrun with people.
I feel like they're seeing money on the table with the Ricochet Osprey match, and they'll do it,
No, I
and then
know.
that'll be it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he'll be just kicking it. He'll be
yeah,
kicking like the rest of them. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah,
that's what
yeah,
I'm saying is that it's that sort of in TNA. If you're a WWE mid carder, you're a TNA main eventer.
yeah,
That's how it's always been like that. Like always been like that.
Mm,
Like Christian became the world champ because he was a mid carder. That's always what happens. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
yeah,
And I feel like he gets sort of the recognition he kind of deserves,
mm.
just being working somewhere else, doing huge spots. Don't
yeah,
get
Yeah.
if there was a point where he didn't sign for anywhere for a while, was doing some indies, and then popped up in the G1, I'm here for it all day.
Mm,
Like you do a stint in the G1 and then you go somewhere else, I'm down, man. Like I'm 100% for that. But I just can't see it. Like I really can't. But he's one of them wrestlers that, regardless of where he is, I would always sort of follow him. And like that's the thing with wrestling these days. I kind of follow wrestlers more than promotions.
yeah.
So I know quite a lot about where Cardona is and what he's doing because I follow Cardona. Doesn't really matter where he wrestles. That's where my head goes. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Don't follow Matt Riddle. You know what I mean? I know he's in MLW. That's all I can tell you. Uh, Next up, what are we doing? What have we got?
WWE UK tour.
You do that. I don't
I've got
go.
the dates.
Oh, yeah. So
So, and I
Oh, you
was
beat me to it.
I was trying to figure this out actually, and this is where we can speculate and do all this kind of stuff. So, WWE have announced what seems to be a sort of annual autumn tour for the UK and Ireland. Although bizarrely, it's split into two legs. Now, usually what they end up doing is they do a sort of week or however many dates, and it's sort of in one straight shot. This one you've got Sunday the 13th of October at the Utilita Arena in Cardiff, then Monday the 14th at the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool, Tuesday October 15th Utilita Arena in Newcastle, and then Wednesday October 16th Co-op Live in Manchester. That's the debut at Co-op Live. And admittedly, I did sort of send it to Amy and be like, "Hey,
Probably
like,"
get cancelled.
I was like, "Shh, don't say that." And she was like, "Well, it's up to you. I didn't think you'd want to go." And I was like, "I feel like the excuse is it's the first one at the co-op, and I've not been to the co-op yet. Um, I mean, and that's just me ignoring the fact that I could finally go up and meet Ty in Liverpool and go and watch
I
watch
didn't want to
him.
say because I was about to say, well, we could do one, but if we're gonna, if it comes down to it, where me and you are going, I'm not going to Manchester. So so I've been to
I've done it
Manchester
too many times.
times. I'll be
You're
honest.
going up here.
No, I don't mind. I'll go to co-op if you. if you want to go and you don't want to go with Amy and all that stuff, then it sounds. But I'm easy. You know what I mean? I don't go to these things. I'll
Just
be
mark
honest.
down another Rach and Thea Archie's
Yeah,
milkshake.
there you go. Their day out will cost me more than the ticket.
Yeah. That'll be it.
But as I say, it's not something I'm like huge on. I don't know why I don't go. I don't know why the thing. I think it's more like I think I'm just cheap. I think that's what it is. I'm just like
It's that thing of I think we ended up taking Ruby to that one in 21 purely because I was more surprised that the tickets were 30 quid.
yeah,
And I was like, I didn't expect that. So yeah, I'll pay 90 quid for 3 tickets. That's absolutely fine.
yeah,
But if you get into it now and you're asking for like 100 and odd quid, it's not happening.
yeah.
It's not happening.
I
Like
think that's
it's
what it
just
is. I'm just a bit
yeah.
cheap, especially for a live. Like, but
Yeah.
then at the same
Yeah.
time, you get a like there's a pay-per-view over here, and standard tickets are like 8 grand and a kidney. So
It's
The,
ridiculous.
the
It's
cheapest
so
ticket for
ridiculous.
Clash of the Castle was like 350.
yeah, it's mad.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't
And you
know
know, in
who the
between there,
pricing
it's
out of
like
here.
you like a because they're not doing any televised shows over here, are they?
For this tour,
Yeah,
no, doesn't
no,
seem like
No.
it. Well, this is the thing that I was going to say. It's bizarre in where it's landed. So the thing that we've got at the minute, there are no PLEs scheduled between uh, Bash at Berlin or Bash in Berlin at the end of August and Crown Jewel at the start of November. Okay.
Mm.
So I was thinking that Saturday, October 12th, is that I, do you squeeze in another PLE to then make the fact that they're all over here to then do a mini tour? But it's like, what? Where would you do it? What are you going to call it? Like, what's it going to be? Especially being as you're hitting Cardiff, Liverpool, Newcastle, and Manchester. And then on the other side, you're doing Dublin, London, Nottingham, and Sheffield. So I can't imagine that they are actually going to do a PLE.
no.
Um, because then after that, so you've got Sunday, November 3rd in Dublin. That's the day after Crown Jewel.
Jesus,
So
that's a long flight.
yeah, so
Sorry
that's the
for saying
idea that
that.
they're
That's
going
a
to leave.
long flight.
Yeah, they're going to leave Saudi to go to Dublin to have a house show in Dublin the night after
Wouldn't
the
you just
Saudi
have
show.
people who aren't on the Saudi show?
Well, it looks as though it's going to be a SmackDown tour.
Right.
Both
Um,
of them.
yeah, and then you've got the O2 in London on Monday, the November 4th, the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham on Tuesday, the 5th of November, and then Wednesday, the 6th of November, Utilita in Sheffield. And they've announced for the show Cody Rhodes, Bailey, Bianca, Jade Cargill, Randy Orton, LA Knight, AJ Styles, Nia Jax, Kevin Owens, The Bloodline, Bobby Lashley, and Street Profits. So it seems that they're doing 4 dates in October and having 2 weeks and then coming back to do 4 more dates in November. It's
Yeah, that
weird.
is.
It's a
Yeah.
weird sort of balance that they've done there.
Mm.
And obviously, like we say, like Crown Jewel's in the middle. So I don't know why they've done it that way. And again, they're all that sort of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The idea being that they'll fly back and do SmackDown Live in America on the Friday.
Mm.
Um, so it fits, but I was intrigued as to like, is it going around the PLE that first one? But I don't think it is. Because I've just read because I thought this was interesting. I didn't realize this was happening. So WWE considering bringing back a defunct pay-per-view name for an event at the end of 2024. It's been reported on Friday that WWE is considering using Bad Blood as a PLE name to tie in with the anniversary of the first Hell in a Cell match, which took place on October 5th, 1997, as what was then known as Bad Blood. Um, Even the actual anniversary is a Saturday, so October 5th, so it could be a whole Bad Blood PLE,
Yeah.
on the that's talking that for UK and Ireland dates. So
Yeah, I think because I read a while ago, or seen a while ago, I think he said it somewhere, that Triple H was like, I hate the fact that these are the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view because a Hell in a Cell
Mm.
blow off of an event of a feud. No, we're here on this date, so let's have a Hell in a Cell match. So he was kind of like
Yeah.
so as soon as he got kind of in charge, he was like, that's getting bailed. So to have a Bad Blood pay-per-view and it headlined by the biggest feud going at the time in a Hell in a Cell match gets that excitement for Hell in a Cell back.
Punk and Drew.
Mm. And
Possibly.
Rhea Liv with Dom at the top.
Maybe.
In the corner.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be shocked if they did that, to be honest with you. But yeah, it depends on ticket prices and where and when and all that stuff.
It's a bit rubbish that they're all like on a school night. Because it's literally Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And it falls like sandwiched in between half term as well.
Yeah.
Like it's like the week before half term and the week after half term is finished.
Yeah.
It's interesting because, like as you said, they've got 8 nights in relatively big cities where if they were to hold a pay-per-view, I mean, I'm never expecting a PLE in Nottingham. Like, I mean, that would be the dream. PLE at the City Ground, I'd be sat behind my pillar. But I can't see them doing PLE because they're using all of the other main cities. Like, they may go to Belfast, I suppose.
I was trying to think
Edinburgh
of
or Glasgow, but I mean, I can't see them back to Glasgow.
You've got Cardiff, Liverpool, Newcastle, Manchester, Dublin, London, Nottingham, Sheffield. Like, where do you go?
Yeah. And like, you don't want to do like a stadium show. I mean, you don't want to do a stadium show in the first week of June at the moment, but you don't want to be doing a stadium show
Tell me about
in the second week of October.
Booze is freezing.
I'm not surprised. So like, you're not going to do a 60, 70,000 capacity right at that time of the year. I could see this being a tour where they announce like the next pay-per-view or next PLE. It just feels strange. Like they're doing so many different shows. Like we talked about the one that they did in Lyon, and then they did like a UK tour just before that, and then they came back to Europe for a few shows around the same time of the shows in Lyon. Like, and for it to be the same crew as well feels really strange because like I'm not brilliant at dates, so you can probably guess. But I sort of looked at it and I thought, okay, so Adam's going to be getting the Raw side, and Nottingham is going to be getting the SmackDown side, assumingly. And then I looked at dates and I was like, oh, hang on, the Manchester show's on a Tuesday night, so that's not going to be the Raw crew. So like, these SmackDown guys are going to be flying for one show at the start of October, then going over to Saudi, then going to Dublin. So Raw are just doing the Saudi show, and that's it. It feels really weird that you're not going to split the two tours up because that's what they've been doing over like the past few months. So I do wonder, like, are we going to get a PLE, and then that's how they split it up, and they say like we get the PLE on a Saturday, Raw stay for a house show, and then do a live show on the Monday, like in Newcastle or wherever.
With Saudi being in the middle, though, wouldn't they just have, rather than having SmackDown side and Raw side, wouldn't they just like be like, okay, so not whoever, but certain people obviously aren't going to Saudi, so it doesn't matter if you're on Raw or SmackDown, you're going to go to the UK because obviously going to Saudi and then flying all the way back to do a show seems ridiculous. So surely
the possibility there then is, so like your Sunday in Dublin right after Saudi, say you don't have, I mean, I'm thinking of storylines now, but say you don't have the Bloodline or Owens and Orton on the show, they then main event that Dublin show. Cody could still do Saudi, but then flies in, so then he's there for the London show on the Monday. So
yeah, like he wouldn't do the night after.
Whoever gets the Dublin show is the sort of B card.
Yeah, but then arguably you could have the main event of Sutton with somebody in the Dublin show being Finn. So then they get that pop of like it being Finn. Because he doesn't necessarily absolutely have to be at Saudi if whatever's happening is happening.
No.
You know what I mean? So, and then you get like the hometown hero coming in, doing his thing rather than Cody. So they still get like a big catch because it's like, we're getting to see Finn. is right. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then even having a thingy show, and even though she's not signed or whatever, just having Becky pop up,
Mm.
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah.
hey, if you're old, do you want to pop up and say hello?
You're home, knocking
Yeah.
on.
You know what I mean? Like,
Coming out.
you're not getting the big guy, but you're getting like we're
Yeah.
giving you enough. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of them. I always think it's mad on live events where it's like they seem to try and keep sort of stuff separated and stuff like that, and it's like, why? It's a live show.
Mm.
Just go out and do what you want.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's weird. It's a weird one to me. But
Yeah. I mean, like I say, like you were saying before, Ty, like it depends on prices. Like I don't know. You know, I'm not.
I am going to be about 6 weeks out of having a baby. So,
Yeah.
to be fair, so we'll see what's happening. We'll see if I'm allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
The
I'm
I-
just
only
more
time I'll
intrigued
ever say
about
that, by the way.
seeing. Say again.
So that's the only time I'll ever say that is we'll see if I'm allowed. Because I'm allowed to do whatever I want. But
But not in that window.
am I allowed to do that? Like, it will it be, yeah, you do whatever you want, yeah, sounds, whatever.
Yeah.
Asshole. So, I
Asshole.
don't know.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by them doing a different arena in Manchester, and like my head just goes to but it's the first time that they're doing this, so it's like I'm a marketing man's dream. That's why. Um,
I'm a
but
man's
It's
dream.
like build hundreds
I
of new arenas in Manchester just so you have to go.
yeah, it's like well, Adam's got to be there, hasn't he? Surely.
Yeah. We sold one ticket, is right.
Easier. I mean, sort of off topic, but slightly on topic. So, UFC are doing a show at the Co-op Live. Have you seen what time they're starting that show?
No.
It's gonna
One
be
in the
like
morning.
one or yeah, late.
What? But
So
say that again.
they're doing UFC live from Manchester, right? But because
Yeah.
they're more concerned about the fact that the US audiences aren't going to be able to watch it at a normal time, they're starting it at 1 a.m. Yeah. So Tom Aspinall, who is the UFC, one of the UFC champions, who's from Manchester, was like, "That is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard in my life."
Mm.
Um,
That's mad.
I'm gonna go on the website now just so I can sort of find out what it actually is in terms of the start time. I'm sure the doors will open something stupid like 11 o'clock at night. Uh, yeah, so UFC 304, 27th of July. It says the start time is 2300, right? Um, which will be when the doors open. Yeah, that's all it says.
Wow.
But yeah, UFC 304 start time. Let's have a because I could not believe it.
No. Well, got to
Yeah,
think about the athletes. Like they're waking up at a certain time of the day, knowing that they'll be fighting in like 17, 18 hours time. It's not right for the athletes, health and well-being to be fighting at 2 a.m. in the morning.
no.
Yeah.
So 11 p.m. Will be the start of the prelims, and then 3 a.m. for
Yeah,
the main card.
3 a.m.
Jesus
3
Christ.
a.m.
That's the Conor McGregor over there to hand out some devil's pepper, won't he? Know what I mean? Keep everyone awake. Know what
I
I'm
mean, at
saying?
least WWE do it at our time. At least tonight, we can all have our tea and go and watch Clash. Like,
Yeah. Like, that's mad. At 1 o'clock in the morning. Jesus. But it's on pay-per-view anyway, isn't it?
yeah,
So it's
Yeah.
not like it's on a channel where they're like, well, we're not showing
no.
you 7 o'clock at night.
But they're more concerned about making sure that the US audience gets it at the right time.
Then don't do it in Manchester.
So it's like
Well,
the
it's like
UK audience are used to this, so fuck it, whatever.
yeah. Um,
Wow.
Going back to the PLE announcement, apparently talk of SummerSlam 2025 being London.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm.
Well, because we had this conversation, didn't we, Cal, when we were talking about when we were doing our reactions predictions to King of Queen of the Ring,
Mm.
that Michael Cole kept going. We know where SummerSlam in 2026 is. We know where SummerSlam in 2024 is. Where am I going in 2025? And I was convinced that it was just going to be, Saudi SummerSlam.
Mm.
But apparently London is the one that is getting people talking and getting the sort of the wheels spinning. And then I thought last night, how much of a dick move would it be if they book Wembley on that bank holiday weekend where All In usually is.
Yeah, I could see them just pulling like it under the carpet, really, and sort of announcing it as soon as possible. So
Yeah.
it's like you could end up having two wrestling pay-per-views back-to-back weekends at
Wow.
Wembley Stadium, which would be wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I'm optimistic, which is why I'm not thinking too much about this UK tour. 'Cause I'm like,
Admittedly, exactly the same. I'm like, if I'm going anywhere, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll spend more money, obviously, to go to
Mm.
SummerSlam, but at the same time, I'm thinking, would I rather see Cody Rhodes wrestle at Wembley Stadium or Cody Rhodes wrestle at Nottingham
What,
Arena?
Yeah.
I mean, I got very close to seeing Cody Rhodes wrestle at WCPW until he decided he wanted to go and do Arrow instead.
Tell you what. Him and that bloody gold dust. Hey. Tell you what. I am intrigued by this, I will be honest. There's more chance of me getting into Wembley to watch WWE than AEW. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We've got to do Wembley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all got to do Wembley.
We've all got to do Wembley.
We'll be press. We'll go as press.
We'll go as press. There's enough space.
Yeah. We've got a year or so. We can build this.
Yeah.
It's all good. We got this.
Wembley.
We got this.
I mean,
I'll speak
it's
to contact in Greenwich and see what he says about it.
Yeah.
Got the address. So
Oh yeah.
I'll just send letters or anything, do you know what I mean? So
No, we just have to befriend Luke Littler, and then we're fine.
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah.
we're fine.
Yep,
I'll
yep.
buy you a kebab and fee for pints.
Yeah, man. So I'll get you some V-Bucks. That was
Come on.
what kids want these days.
I'll buy you a beer. You're too young to get served. It's fine. Come on.
You've just got to have a roast while you're drinking.
Yeah.
So before we wrap this bit up, we're going to talk about Jeff Hardy being a free agent, but he's already popped up wherever else he's popping up. So
can you believe, right, that we've never done this one, and we should do this one. We should do a top 10 list of entrance themes, right?
Yeah.
I think we said it at one point that we were going to do it. But can you believe the absolute banger is just like royalty free?
Yeah.
Like, why aren't we using it?
I don't know. It's only you who told me that MJF's tune's royalty free.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you just have that. Just have it.
Main evented Wembley last year.
And you can just have it wherever you want.
Have it.
Madness.
Stuff your kazoos. We can play it on here.
What I was going to say? Oh, yeah. Do you think AEW fumbled the Hardys?
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
It's like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? You got like one of the most decorated tag teams that are still going. Like, they've gone and you've got Edge and Christian there. Are you?
I was literally just about to say that. Like, I know it's pure sort of like nostalgia hit and all that kind of stuff, but if you'd put the Hardys and Edge and Christian on a PLE or a pay-per-view,
yeah, man.
money.
You could do a ladder match for the number one contender.
Yeah.
Like, put a bag up there, redo the Teddy Invitational Tournament. You know what I mean? Give me some TIT.
There's a grand adjusted for inflation.
Get me some TIT up here. You know what I mean? It's madness to me that they've had that and they've never. They haven't even been champs, have they?
No.
Because
I tell you what, and I'm surprised I didn't say this. This isn't a Jeff thing. Going to All In, right? Young Bucks defending the tag titles. I'll have them losing to Samoa and Joe and Hook. Like, I didn't think I'd say that. But Samoa Hook, all there for that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's what Maui runs around with, isn't it? That's his little blade.
Samoan Hook.
Yeah. Isn't that what he's got?
We've got a light up on somewhere from Disney on Ice.
That's the Moana Hook, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's his thing. Yeah. That's what he runs around with, and Moana too.
Yeah.
Sure it is. Samoan Hook. Yeah, man, like it's just madness that they've gone and they're just like, yeah, bye WC later, don't give a shit. Like, I'm out of here. Weird.
And Matt said that he's in the Battle Royal on NXT, isn't he?
Has he?
Supposedly, they are doing a Battle Royal on NXT for a number one
Yeah,
contender shot, and Matt has said that he's in the Battle Royal.
shut up.
I'm sure, honestly, I swear to God, it's
Oh,
like
that'd be amazing.
Matt Hardy's in the Battle Royal.
That'd be
That'll
amazing.
be that would be wild. Trying to get my words out. No more words, indeed.
Oh, well, indeed. Indeed.
Oh, I apologize. He is teased entering.
Oh, don't do this to us, Adam.
Sorry.
Has he
I'll read the thing. I'll read what he said.
Is that what's happened?
Oh, right. So he's teased entering the top contender battle royal as TNA world champion.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so he has to get past Moose, and I don't think he won that match because I think it ended in that sort of kerfuffle, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then he's put, as after I procure the TNA title of the world on Friday, I might just delete the 24 obnoxious ants and become the NXT champion.
Nice. I'm going to be in the NXT Battle Royal, is right, and then going, oh no, I can't do that. Delete the tweet. Delete the tweet.
Yeah,
delete the tweet.
It never happened.
I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't watch NXT, but I really want to watch NXT. It's got me thinking this could be quite interesting. So,
I'm with Callum though. We need a Hardy's one last run in WWE.
When did I say that?
You tweeted it.
Yeah.
Oh, of course I did.
I agree, right?
Or it might have just been in the group chat, but either way, I agree with you.
I think it just feels natural, doesn't it, for them to go back for WWE for that either one final match or one final run, because they came back in 2017, pure nostalgia, and then it sort of faded and became obsolete. And because like Jeff got injured, Matt teamed with Bray, Jeff came back, won the US title, went over to SmackDown. Then they won the titles again in 2018 or 19 against Usos.
Mm-hmm.
But I think even in like the match that they won, one of them got injured. Yeah. And then Matt left in 2020 because he made his debut in AEW same time as Brody. And then Jeff sort of went off the rails a little bit again, which sadly feels like that's like the norm with Jeff. But it's the Hardy Boys. Just give me that one final match, Hall of Fame induction, final match at Mania, SummerSlam 2025 at Wembley Stadium. Get the Hardy Boys in. They're not going to do it for AEW, but who knows? Edge and Christian may have left AEW by then. We'll get Hardy Boys versus Edge and Christian with Bully Ray and Devon Dudley like as, I don't know, announcers or something. And we just get we just need that final Hardy Boys match in WWE. Yeah. It would just feel right, like for them to end their career there.
Hardy's DIY ladder match. SummerSlam.
Do you think there's any kind of like, I don't want to really work with you the way Jeff left WWE though?
No, because that was Jeff 15 years ago.
If they've brought Punk back,
I'm just saying. I'm just asking the question. I'm just doing what other people who own I'm doing what other people who own a podcast and I've got a Twitter or an X say. I'm just being a journalist, all right? I'm just being a journalist. Just being a journalist.
Imagine a Punk Jeff feud in 2024.
Oh,
like with everything that happened 15, 16 years ago.
You're a hypocrite.
Before we wrap this one up, is there anything else you want to add? Also, I will say this. What's the channel in the UK that has got TNA on it?
IOZAT, yeah.
How's that? Sounds like someone appealing in a cricket game.
IOZAT TV, right? So, do you know they've been doing the greatest matches of TNA? They've also got another show at some point in the week called TNA Wrestling. Just called TNA Wrestling. Yesterday, I watched Slammiversary 2005.
I have it recorded.
The one after.
Don't spoil it for him.
Is Slammiversary 2004. There's an AJ match on that show. I'm almost certain is an absolute banger. I think it's an AJ match. I'm not sure, or it's right around that. But it's the actual show. The thing is on for like 3 hours and
Mm.
half, like 30 minutes or something. So it's the whole show. Like just if anyone's in the UK and has got Sky, um, watch some.
I've had them on Series Link. I've been going through them. Because they have some random filler matches on those pay-per-views
Oh
though.
my God, it's mad, mad,
So
absolutely
bizarre.
mad. They had at the start of Slammiversary 2003, I think it was, or 2004. They had a six-man X Division match, like a six-man submission X Division match, or something like that. And they were like, "Oh, we've got the second member of the match. Who's it going to be?" And then they were like, "The fifth member. Oh my God, there's only one more left. Who's it going to be? Shark Boy." They were buzzing off Shark Boy. No, you're just like, "Who's this going to be? Oh my God!" And then Shark Boy comes out. Oh, right, Shark Boy. Yeah. So,
But it's
like,
like Turning Point 2005 was like opening match barbed wire massacre between Abyss and
yeah.
Sabu, and you're like, oh yeah, and then the next match is like Sonny Siaki and Apollo versus the Naturals, and you're like, what's happening?
Hold on. There's a big show. Jesus. But yeah, it's like I think Callum needs to get IOs at TV. And
I've got hours at TV. I know, like it's like channel 181 after that's
Press that
TV2
record
or
button then.
something.
yeah.
It's like a few channels up from when they showed classic Drop the Dead Donkey and Chelmsford 123 and the Kenny Everett show or something.
Repeats
That
to SMTV Live and Chums.
yeah, to be fair, I'll be honest, I only found it because that's TV2 had Jerry Springer on it. And I got lost in an episode of Jerry Springer from
You
like
sat there going, Jerry Springer, Jerry
you know what
Springer.
do you know what the episode was? Right, we're gonna wrap this up now. The episode was right. Ku Klux Klan mums. So it was like mums who were raising the kids to be in the KKK, to be like, no, we just love whites. We don't hate anybody else. We just love white. I was like, how is this even see? First of all, who decided this was an idea to bloody put on telly? And then second of all, it had like home videos to be like, oh yeah, who's this? Oh yeah, mum, that's the Grandmaster Wizard. What? Like, oh man,
Jerry Springer was a fever dream. I remember watching one when I was
mad.
like 6, and it was the first time I'd seen two women kiss. Right? It was like the thing was like, yes, I'm married to you, but I actually love your sister.
Oh my
It was like,
God.
oh my God, what's happening here?
Yeah. So that's the reason I
Um,
found it. Because yeah, KKK mum.
Oh,
They just think whites is superior. They're not. They don't hate anybody. They just yeah, that's it. And
what a
then
way to end the episode.
the woman who was on it must have called Jerry Springer a Jew about 100 times. You're a Jew. You're a Jew. You're a Jew. It's like
no,
yeah, I know I
what do
am.
do about it?
Yeah, it's like Jesus Christ, that was so bad. Like, didn't know you're watching something you just can't get past. Like you're like,
It's car crash TV. That's
yeah.
exactly what it
I was
is.
watching it like this needs to go on a break because I need to turn over because this is I can't do it on my own. I need some help. Like it was mad. So yeah. Anyway, that's how I found it. So yeah, I highly recommend getting IOs at TV or whatever it's called. Uh, would you like to add anything else about anything that is happening at this very moment in wrestling that you would like to comment about in a one-word answer, a yes or no tick box, as it is tonight? Is Drew McIntyre winning the world title?
No.
Okay, Callum.
Yes.
Ooh,
Right here in Scotland.
I say yes.
They've had enough disappointment in the last 24 hours. They can't go through much more.
Did
The best tweet yesterday, and I'm gutted it didn't happen. Blacksmith Apparel, you know, they do the like Osprey track stuff.
Yeah.
They tweeted, they said, WWE have the chance to do the single greatest thing. Have Ludwig Kaiser come
I
out
see
during
this?
SmackDown and say, Germany 1-0 up. And then just leave.
He did the dark match and they were already 3-0 up. He did the dark match for the SmackDown at like
Oh,
9 o'clock and they were already 3-0 up. So he did the dark and came out and said they were 3-0.
Oh, loss. Yeah. So there's our roundup. We haven't actually got a name for this, so if anybody wants to name it, then that's all well and good. I like this format. I like what we're doing here. It's all good.
Yeah.
I am gonna. This is gonna be like a nice little, a cool little episode. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna call it something, but it's all good. As always, stay safe, stay entertained, and watch the wrestling you want to watch. Unless you've got IOs at TV, and then watch 20-year-old TNA, and let us know what's the what. And if you're still listening, and as we talked about right at the start, if you are struggling or anything like that, hit us up, say hey, like throw us a direct message, do what you want. It's all good, man. Like we'll shoot the shit. And we will catch you next time. Bye.